Um, so, what's happening on Broadway? There's always those shows that you wanted to catch, and you're kind of trying to work out your schedule. We have some closings that were announced soon.
It's been a tumultuous summer here in New York City. That's what happens. It's a tough business. So some shows hang on and some fall by the wayside. So we have a couple things that are closing. Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812, which Broadway, everybody was so excited to see open in the spring with Josh Groban, is closing September 3rd. And once he left the show, I don't know, the buzz kind of whittled away, and they tried to keep it going, and there was some controversy with some casting, but we're not going to get into that.
Okay. We won't go there.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. I will say this, though, that, when the show went into the Imperial Theater, they completely redefined and redesigned the space. So although Great Comet might go on tour in 2018 or later, if you want to see the show in its kind of truest Broadway form in this amazing setting with such integrity, I would definitely try to catch it before September 3rd. It's something not to be missed. It's really, if you want to get your bang for the buck, with big, spectacular Broadway lavishness, that's the show that you want to see, for sure.
And hasn't there been a sort of influx of ticket sales since they announced the closing? People are like, uh-oh, we have to go.
It happened a lot, actually. So, the numbers trail down, and then they announce a closing notice, and people get enthusiastic. It actually happened with Indecent, which did close 1 or 2 weeks ago, but they had posted their closing notice earlier this summer, and then ticket sales soared, and they actually extended it for a couple of months. I don't know that that's going to happen in this case, but it's amazing what dedicated audience members can do for a Broadway show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We also have Bandstand, which is closing on September 17th. So Bandstand is a story of a group of GIs from World War II coming back to the States and getting their footing and trying to rebuild their lives. Bandstand got solid reviews. It won a Tony Award for Best Choreography for Andy Blankenbuehler, who also choreographed Hamilton. Mm-hmm. So he's batting 2 for 2 in the past 2 years. So you have until September 17th to catch that as well. And then, although the show isn't closing, we talked about this last time, Hello Dolly, Bette Midler. We actually had talked about Donna Murphy stepping in for one show a week and some alternate performances. But Bette announced her departure date for January 14th, 2018. So if you're planning on coming to New York and you want to see the divine Miss M, you're going to have to do that.
Are tickets available for her performances? Are tickets still available? Are they selling out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's tough, but you should definitely go online and look and see if you can see her. And then, of course, in the tradition, kind of a David Merrick, who created the original Hello Dolly and sort of the star casting. We'll have to see who comes in January. I have a couple ideas. Do you have any thoughts of your dream Dolly who should go into the role?
I have some ideas. Yeah. I mean, I do. What are your ideas? Let's see. I don't know.
All right. The rumor is, and this is totally off the record and not confirmed by anybody, I'm just telling you what the buzz is.
Okay.
Dolly Parton might be a name that's being thrown around. I personally want to start a campaign for Melissa McCarthy. I think she would be absolutely hilarious and quite crushing as well. When Carol Channing did this show originally, she was in her early 40s. And although Bette is in her early 70s, and I'm by no means being ageist, just sort of harkening back to the original production and kind of how that role was conceived, I think Melissa McCarthy would be great. What about you?
I love her. I love funny women. They're my favorite. I think they can do anything. I have a couple of ideas. How about, she was a Tony Award winner for Hairspray, Marissa Jarrett Whittaker. Do you know her? She's hilarious. She is a great singer. I mean, I think it could work.
She could pull it off.
I think she could pull up. Again, a little young,
right.
But I think we can go for it. And then I think my celebrity pick. What about Tracy Ullman? Is that good?
That's so good.
It's
Why
so
did
good.
I think of that? That's perfect.
She would be so fun.
Yes, that's a good one.
Well, those are my picks.
I'll start that campaign.
Okay. So there's also a lot of really cool stuff going on off Broadway. This is really like kind of exciting projects coming up, openings very soon. Tell us what's happening.
Yeah. There is a lot of stuff happening off Broadway, and just for the person who's coming into New York and doesn't want to spend $175 on a Broadway ticket, you can see a lot of amazing theater at prices a little more affordable in more intimate spaces. There's a couple shows that I have my eye on that are a little more adult themes for more mature audience. I think are really intriguing. The first one is called Charm, and it's at MCC Theater, which is an off-Broadway company that I've been following for some time and seeing their work. They do really innovative pieces that sort of tug at your heartstrings and deal with social and economic issues. This particular play is about a 67-year-old Black transgender woman who teaches this etiquette class at the local LGBT center in Chicago. And it's really about her relationship with these students, quote unquote, who come in and how those different people from the community and different ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds sort of learn to get along and deal with each other. So I'm really excited to see that come to fruition. They do terrific work. And I know this is going to be a knockout as well.
Yeah, it sounds like a really cool one. That sounds like a really cool one, yeah.
That people might have their eye on, and a title that's a little more familiar is A Clockwork Orange. I don't know if you ever saw the 1971 Stanley Kubrick film. Did you ever see it?
I did, yes. And I read the book. And
oh, you did?
Yes, and I checked out a little. This one sounded so cool to me that I checked out. They have a video online of a portion of the show. I mean, this is pretty edgy.
It is.
Awesome.
It is. London. It is sold out in London. The lead actor is coming over with the production. It's at New World Stages, which is kind of a cool venue in Midtown. There's almost like a theater hub. There's 5 or 6 theaters within this complex. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. That opens September 25th. And it's not going to be for the faint of heart. So,
no, not from what I saw. But I think it's cool. I love that. And I love that, off-Broadway should be a place to go there and experiment and do these sort of edgier productions, I think.
I totally agree. I must say that there are not productions that are not happening for family audiences. So this one I'm excited about as well. It's called Polka Dot, the Cool Kids Musical at Atlantic Theater Company. I just have to read the description because it's so cute to me. Lily Polka Dot moves to Square's only small town, Rockaway, and she's the first polka dot in an all-square school. What that means, she needs to learn how to get along and make friends, and everyone needs to learn to tolerate and love one another and sort of celebrate our diversity, especially what's happening in the world.
I was just going to say, I mean, it seems like this is a subject matter that is very, very topical and important, and especially for kids, because they're getting all this, information from the media, from the world, and I think this is a really great idea and a great way to bring the kids to. It looks really cute.
Yeah, I'm excited. I need to find a kid, or maybe I'll just go by myself.
Find a kid, like a random kid that might want to go with you. That's cool. Oh, there you go. Okay. I thought we lost sound, but you're good. So we like to talk about sort of making a whole experience. If our fellow Rhode Islanders wanted to take a little trip to New York to see some shows, what else can they do to get that New York experience? There's a new cabaret space that has opened recently that is very cool. Tell us about Green Room 42.
Yeah, the Green Room 42 opened at Utel, which is this kind of hip, pod-like property it's in the district on 10th Avenue and 41st Street. And they have this great space called the Green Room 42. They also have, because I was just there seeing Russ Kaplan, who was one of the composers of In Transit. He does these Broadway jazz sessions every month. So I was just there a few days ago for that. But in addition to the space, which I'll get to in a moment, they have a gorgeous rooftop deck where you can see views of Manhattan. And it's not super crazy or loud. It's a pretty chill vibe. I think it might still sort of be undiscovered. I'm not sure, but I lived in New York a long time, and I thought, I should be coming here for drinks and hanging out more. 42 is doing some terrific programming all year long. Every week there are shows, and what's great about it is that it's an affordable cover. It's usually $20 or $25. They don't charge you a food and drink minimum. There's other terrific venues around town as well. We talked about 54 Below and what's happening there this fall, which is fantastic. This is just a little more affordable and a little more laid back. The banquettes are graffiti art painted, which is really cool. So it has kind of a younger, hipper vibe. And we have some great acts that are coming up this fall. One of them that I'm particularly excited about is Ali Stroker. So if our viewers aren't familiar with her, Ali was on, what's the name of that show? Glee. So she was on the Glee project, and then she was actually on Glee. And she was the first actress on Broadway to perform. She's actually in a wheelchair. And so she's broken a lot of boundaries in that capacity. She's going to be appearing this fall on a new ABC series with Kira Sedgwick called 10 Days in the Valley. So she's immensely talented. She has this incredible big belty voice, and it's going to be a cool night. They're actually putting in a room for her to get to the stage. So I love that.
Wow. And that's September 17th and 18th.
Correct.
Her performance. Oh, that sounds really, really fun. I definitely want to check out that space next time I'm in the city.
Yeah, you should.
That sounds awesome. All right. Anything else that we should know about, Matthew?
Well, if you're kind of buzzing around and bored at your desk at work and want to hop on your phone and check an app, which you might not be allowed to do, but,
they'll never know.
Yeah, there's a cool app that I actually use that's called showscore.com. So it's show-score.com. And it's kind of like the Rotten Tomatoes of the theater world of Broadway and off-Broadway. So it aggregates reviews from across all different media outlets and gives you an average score. But what's cool about it is that it also has this participatory component where you can create a profile and also submit your own reviews. So it has reviews from professionals, theater critics like myself or other industry professionals, and then there's another section that has reviews and commentary from your typical theater goers, and you can see both of those scores. Sometimes they're similar, sometimes audiences like critics, vice versa. So it's a great way to get a snapshot, and the layout of it, the templates are terrific, so it's really easy to navigate, and you can kind of click through and read the full reviews and the full commentaries if you're interested in diving a little bit deeper.
That sounds like a great idea. I love this, sort of like Rotten Tomatoes or meets Yelp for Broadway. I like that. I think that's a cool idea. And of course, you can go to thebroadwayblog.com to get some more information, reviews. It's a great website, by the way. I really love the layout. I just want to throw that out there. Good work.
Last time we talked a little bit about Prince of Broadway, which is opening next week.
Yeah.
Which is a retrospective of how Prince's work. So we just interviewed Erin Ziemba, who is in that production. She's been in 11 Broadway shows and won a Tony Award. So that's some of her latest content if you want to read about what she says about working with one of theater's most iconic producers and directors. So.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, Matthew, for cluing us in, making us feel cool about what's happening on Broadway. And we'll talk to
you.
Yes, exactly. We'll talk to you again in a few weeks. And so thank you again for being on the show.